Welcome to the Bella Vista Gardening Program. I'm Geri Hoerner, and today I have joining me is Leslie Walker, and she's from Bella Vista.
Hello.
And she is an integrative health coach, and she has a very interesting view of how to relate to plants, how plants relate to you, and it can involve poetry. So it's going to be a very interesting viewpoint that we usually just talk about facts or, you know, what plants are available. So, and we'll also be talking about upcoming events and what to do in your garden for November. So, and there aren't too many things going on in the garden right now, or about the garden, and especially with the shutdown. But Crystal Bridges still has their North Woods presentation that is their Lights in the North Forest. So it's a good time to go find a warm evening and go see the lights in the forest at Crystal Bridges. It's there until February 16th next year. So Leslie has got a very interesting viewpoint on flowers and plants and how they can help you and you can help them. Mm-hmm. So how did you get started in this?
Okay. Well, Plants and Poetry started with my friends Kelsey and Jamie out of their house. They were roommates, and Kelsey kept getting plants from friends and acquaintances who needed their plants to be nursed, and so she'd nurse them back to health. And as the plants came in, Jamie, who's a writer, got to meet the plants and started writing poems for the voice of each of these plants, and realized it was really good for her mental health and to spend time with the plants in that way and learn to take care of them. So the poems she'd write were about the care, how to take care of the plants. So it was instructional and poetic and
so that's a great
healthy. Yeah.
That's a great perspective.
And then I got brought in through the Plants and Poetry Journal, which is an online nature-inspired literary journal, and I'm an integrative health coach. So I'm bringing in this aspect of how we want to grow as individuals and how we can use our plants and the space of poetry or writing to explore our own mind and our own heart and to grow from that.
It sounds very soothing.
Yes.
Very soothing.
Yes.
And that's what we need right now because everyone's very tense with all the things going on in the world.
It's a good practice for calming down,
that's great.
for sure.
So when you do as health coach, so you talk about the nutrition and all the elements.
Yeah, so I definitely focus on produce plants. You know, they're so good for our bodies in all different kinds of ways. I promote and teach about that, but also it's really integrative. So the word integrative is meaning that I'm combining a lot of different parts. So our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being, our physical well-being, our mental well-being, and one more I can't remember right now.
Well,
what is it? What other aspect? Spiritual, emotional, mental, physical.
Physical, nutritional.
Nutritional, yeah.
Well, you know, anytime you're out in the garden, working in your garden, you just feel more relaxed and it's very soothing. And there's so many gardens that are, excuse me, gardens that are set up for healing, you know, healing gardens. So gardens have a big effect on people.
Yeah.
But I never realized it about specific plants, how it relates to specific plants. So, but you do have workshops too. And
yeah.
I think
we've got some pictures to show.
Oh, good.
So let's go ahead and start those. Yeah, so here's our logo, Plants and Poetry. So you can go to the next one, thank you. So who are we? This is my friend Kelsey here. She helps with the plant side of things. And then this is me here with some of my plants. So Plants and Poetry is a community, conservation, and creativity all weaved together, offering plant and poetry education to reconnect with the soil and the soul.
Very soothing.
Next one, please. So this is at my home. It's called the Oasis, and it's my house, but I'm developing a food forest there, and I offer workshops. It's a clinical food forest because we're going to be growing, I do already, and adding and have all these big plans, of course, but growing edible and medicinal crops, different kinds of trees that are medicinal, different kinds of plants that are medicinal.
But you don't make tinctures or anything
Yeah.
from you do?
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
do?
can make tinctures, I make some inks and dyes,
Oh.
I make teas, I do dried herbs.
So you really utilize all the plants.
As many as I can, yes.
Okay.
I'm planning to do more.
Wonderful. That's
Yes.
wonderful. So the next,
The next slide. Okay. This is a video of me. We couldn't get it to play on here, but you can go to our YouTube channel. It's just Plants and Poetry on YouTube. And this is a video of the Oasis, my food forest project.
okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's in the beginning stages, or how long have you been doing that?
So just through this summer.
Oh, this-
Before,
oh.
I was actually a full-time manager of a fine dining restaurant in Rogers. And then I
Oh.
got home from quarantine and
Mm-hmm.
started the journal and started this whole project. So this winter
Oh,
I'll
this is-
be clearing and making blueprints, and then in the spring we'll really be planting the understory and developing irrigation.
So it's mainly native plants?
Yes.
All
Right
native-
now.
Right now.
Yep, except for I do have 6 raised beds.
Uh-huh.
We're installing a greenhouse this fall, now. It's a now project. And then I also have about 20 plus pots that I grow food in that I bring indoors and outdoors.
Uh-huh.
And then I've got a little over 100 plants indoors.
Okay, so the pots that you have the food in, what type of
What do I
plants
have?
are they?
Yeah, I have carrots, cucumbers, parsley, spinach, oregano, red clover,
Now, what do you
bell
use-
peppers.
what do you use red clover
jalapeno.
for?
I just put it in my salad.
I see.
Yeah, cut it. You can. They're those little clovers. They're
Uh-huh.
like red or purple, I guess you
Yeah.
call them, and they're delicious. They're
Oh
kind
my
of
goodness.
sour. They taste a little like a candy. They're completely edible, and you can throw them into a salad.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can eat the flowers of them as well, even
Yeah.
when they flower.
Yeah.
So, what else? I've got tomatoes in there, Cherokee purple tomatoes. I've got cherry tomatoes going in there.
So you just bring them in when it's cold and then put them out when it's warm all winter long?
Yep.
Well, you can have food all season. you
Yes,
know,
I
all
plan
year round.
to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Okay, and the next picture we have?
Okay, so this is a little about our journal, our nature-inspired literary journal. It's an online nature-inspired journal, and we take submissions from all over the world. For every submission that we receive, I plant a tree in the food forest or in my garden, or I give seeds away. I do all kinds of things for those seeds, actually. Next slide, please, unless you have any questions
Well,
about
yeah,
that.
when you send people seeds,
Yeah,
they
coming
grow the
up.
plant,
Mm-hmm.
and then they collect the seeds and send them back to you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
what I
could we
understood.
skip 2 slides ahead? I've got a picture about that on there.
I don't know if we can go back.
There it is, the
Oh,
Read
it
and
is?
Seed program. So I have a seed
Yeah.
catalog. I have all heirloom and non-genetically modified seeds.
Uh-huh.
So we send the seeds to you if you'd like to have seeds, if you'd like to grow things. Right now I'll be sending out any kind of fall winter vegetable or anything that could grow indoors, like some herbs and some different kinds of lettuces. Those do well indoors with a little grow light.
Oh.
Pretty simple setup, and you could have some fresh herbs and lettuce like
year
all
round.
winter long.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And so then after those things that you grow produce more seeds, then I ask that you save the seeds and then send them back, and I'll pass them on to somebody else who wants
So
seeds.
it's a big circle.
Yeah.
Circle of seeds. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next slide we have? Well,
So we're writers, gardeners, and artists from all around Northwest Arkansas, but honestly, we've had submissions from all over the world. You
Oh,
know, the
that's-
World Wide Web is a big place.
it's big. It gets bigger every day.
It does.
But
Oh,
local artists are encouraged to contact you.
that'll be coming up right now. We've got these events
And you have workshops.
coming on, this workshop. Yes, so our next one is the 7th. It's a virtual, which means that we're doing it via computer, not on-site beginner gardener's workshop, and I'll probably be talking about growing some food indoors and taking care of indoor house plants, mostly right now since we're going into this winter time. And then on the 10th and the 21st, on the 10th, I have the propagation and poetry workshop, and this one I think is really exciting because you're going to learn how to propagate a really hardy indoor plant. It's called a philodendron, and you've probably seen them before. They're the long, viney, beautiful plants. So we're going to learn to propagate those. You'll get a vase with water. You'll get to decorate with different kinds of stones that you want to put into your vase. And then we're going to write a piece of poetry to go with this plant, and it's going to explore the space of your mental health and your mental well-being, like in your heart space, like how you're feeling with issues that you're sitting with, things that you're going through. But we'll be practicing writing about those things and using the voice of the plant to explore how you're feeling about them, and then hopefully that is like an easy way to kind of work through those things and to grow and learn from them. So.
And then you're learning from other people there too.
Yes,
at
absolutely.
The same time.
Some fellowship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was the
and then
last
there's
one.
one. Nope. There's one more.
Okay.
So the artist partnership. This is what you were asking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on my land, I'm a crafter myself and a very crafty person. So I see all kinds of things that could be utilized, whether it's vines to make reefs, or whether it's pine cones to make decor, or so many things that could be used. And I'm actually looking into like dyeing fabric with plant prints. Anyway, so there's just a plethora of things that can be done with all the plants that are grown in the food forest. So I want to offer that for anybody who likes to craft and wants to come and forage for crafting supplies. So, yeah.
And then if they use your materials for their crafts, and they sell them?
Yes, if you want to come use the materials for your crafts so that you can make something, and then you have a product that you could sell. And then if you sell that, I just ask that you share back with me like 10% of the sale or something. That hasn't even been worked out. We can talk about it if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's a lot of artists in Bella Vista.
Yeah.
And, when you're looking at things from a different perspective, like floral design, the garden club's involved in floral design, and you'll look at something and see it completely different than other people.
Right.
Because you're looking at it to use in a different way.
Yeah,
So it's just amazing how the world can open up and see different elements in different ways.
And somebody else might see something and say, oh, I could use that, and I wouldn't have even thought of it.
Right.
So,
everybody has so many different ideas. And I know there was times with our Florelia Rangers Guild, we'd all have the same container and the same plants to do a design, and there weren't two alike.
Right.
I mean, it's just the individual comes out in what you see and what you feel, how that should work.
Yeah,
so,
because that's a creative expression.
Yes, yes. So I've never thought of the poetry element, though. That one's really something I hadn't thought of before.
Maybe we should get together and
do it.
We
should. I should write a poem.
We could do it. It'd be fun.
And then you also have services that your company does, or you do as a company.
Yes. So if you're looking to create a plantscaped space, whether it's indoors or outdoors, and you need some advice about how to do that, or even want us to come and install it for you, we'll go and pick up the supplies, work with you on a design, and actually create a little space.
So you get like the native plants?
Either one. Really, the world is our oyster with as many options as we have. We can order plants online even if you have this very specific idea of a theme kind of plants, or
well, sometimes
kind of
I have
flowers.
plants in my garden that are the variety may be a name excuse me maybe a name of a person that I love, and so I'll get that variety of that plant and things like that, where you have to be very specific about what you're putting in your garden. So that's another expression. of yourself in your garden. So that's great. So you're a workshop, so you just can get in touch with you with your website. I think we had the website we can pull up on there. Your website is?
Plantsandpoetry.org.
Oh, it's real simple. You can get that. Okay.
You can submit a form on there that sends us an email. You can also email us at plantsandpoetry.journal@gmail.com.
Okay.
And we have a Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook, Plants and Poetry. And then my phone number is there, so you can actually text or call me directly at 501-513-7276.
Okay. And then
And I'm
on the
Leslie.
Facebook, so do people from all over the world share information from on the Facebook? Well, that's wonderful, because you can see the perspective from all different countries.
Yeah, and actually Jamie, who helped put together all of these pictures that you've seen today, she lives in Morocco.
Really? Oh my goodness.
Rabat, Morocco. So yeah, we operate internationally.
Her plants would be totally different than what we have.
Totally different climate and everything.
And they take different care.
Yep, different amounts of sunlight for sure. Yeah, and it's not very cold over there, so mostly warm weather plants. Like, yeah, it's all
So would they
different
give off
dynamic.
a warmer feeling?
You know, maybe they're a little bit stronger or weathered.
Oh, because their leaves are usually tougher. Yeah.
Exactly. The eucalyptus tree is wild over there. Lots of dates, things like that.
Yeah, it's just so interesting when you explore plants beyond what we just say, you know, buy this variety or that variety or, you know, this type of plant. It's amazing when you sit and think about all the plants. So.
Yes.
So,
Yes, we're trying to explore that. And one very interesting thing that's here is our oak trees and how oak trees are medicinal. You can use the bark and you can use the wood and all things for different kinds of medicine, even the leaves. So I'm exploring, looking into all of our native plants and what kind of medicinal uses they have for us, because they're right here for us already.
We have so many oak trees, but unfortunately we're losing a lot of oak trees. When they build homes, they just clear the lot and all these oak trees are gone, and it's just very sad. So, but every oak tree is important. So.
And acorn flower was actually a staple in Native American diets. It's completely edible.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we
and
certainly
we just
get
leave
enough,
them all on the ground.
We certainly get enough acorns at the end of the year. So, well, that is so interesting. Well, I'm so glad you came, and I'm hoping you'll come back next year, and maybe we'll see how far you've gotten in your forest and what's changes, and keep everyone updated.
Okay.
So, okay.
You can follow along on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll be posting things as you know, at every turn. So.
Right. There's so much information out there, and if we can just utilize it, that's the thing. We have to utilize it.
That's true.
That's great. Well, November's the time to be doing some things in your garden, not a lot. The summer annuals are done, and you can put in some winter annuals. Perennials, the mums are basically fading now, but just be sure when you cut back your plants for the winter, if you do that, I don't cut back a lot of my plants, so you probably don't cut back yours very much either.
I like to let things go to seed.
Right, and especially the salvia, or any plant that has a hollow stem. There's several
like
plants.
mums too, right?
I'm not sure about mums, but if you cut one and you see it's a hollow stem, you shouldn't cut it back, because the water can get in there, the rain can get in there and freeze, and it'll kill your plant. And I always wondered why my salvias didn't come back, and it's because I cut them back and they froze. So just be careful when you cut back plants if you cut them back. And your roses, sometimes you'll have your roses will be pretty tall and they'll rock in the wind. You may want to just cut those back to like 4 feet so they don't rock and get loose in the soil. And the lawns, you got to keep the lawns free of leaves. The leaves are wonderful, but they'll kill your lawn if you leave them on there real thick. So.
And speaking of that, my husband and I own Hogwash Detailing. I've been on here before with Miss JB, but anyway, we do leaf blowing. So if anybody needs leaf blowing, I'll throw that out there. Hogwash.
But you should keep your lawn about 2 inches high over the winter too. So, and keep those leaves off. So, and vegetables, it's a good time to add organic matter to your vegetable gardens now and get them ready for next year. And mainly just kind of enjoy the fall weather. We started off with our fall being kind of iffy because we weren't getting much moisture. And then we got this rain and the colors just popped. I mean, some of the drives around Bella Vista this year were just beautiful because the colors just came out after that rain.
Do you notice that one huge yellow tree on the golf course whenever you're driving?
Oh, the country club.
Yes.
Yes, that one is a favorite tree.
Beautiful.
It usually is the first one on the course to turn yellow like that. So it's a beautiful tree. It's right on the 17th fairway, so it is beautiful. So if you have any other questions about the Bella Vista Garden Club, go to their website. It's bellavistagardenclub.com. We just redid the whole website. It's all redone. And other information can be gotten from the Benton County Master Gardener website also. And also, the Bella Vista Garden Club will meet again in January. Hopefully, we'll meet in January. We've been meeting outside for the past few months with masks and distancing and so forth. But, you know, we'll see what happens in January if we can meet in person safely. So we'll let you know about that. And I don't know what the program's going to be for January because we don't know where we're going to be.
Right.
But anyway.
To be
But I hope,
continued.
yeah. So, well, thank you, Leslie, for just opening a whole new world in our plant lives. And we'll have a different perspective when we go out in our gardens now. And I still think that plants that you receive from other people are probably more special than the ones you get in a nursery. Because every time you see that plant, you think of that person.
That's right.
And so that's another aspect that
It
you know
is.
you don't think about, it just automatically happens.
That's true.
Right. So there's a
Like
whole
a
new
little,
world.
A little token, a little memory.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, thank you for joining us today. And I hope you've enjoyed the show, and will join us next month. And don't forget to stop and smell the roses.